that the release of oxytocin, so the bonding hormone, which is highly important to feel safe and to feel connected to the caregiver, that also the release of oxytocin is tied to the stress reaction. If constantly, when the child is in an environment where they would feel closeness and being attached to the caregiver, at the same time, there's also this overwhelm and this stress and this regulation taking place. I think there's also a connection, and oxytocin, as we know, as the bonding hormone, plays a huge role when it comes to intimacy and sex and cuddling and physical closeness in the first place. Now, as we now understand the mechanism, let's go through the phases that take place when an avoidant slowly and step by step loses their desire towards you. So let's call it stage 0, the dating phase. Usually avoidants don't have a problem with that for some reason. Why don't they have a problem with sex and with intimacy in this very, very foundational phase? Well, because we just explored that there are no expectations which are put on them, and they are also not forced or committed to show their vulnerable emotional needs. So therefore, an avoidant person can perform very well in the dating phase. They don't have a problem with affairs, with short-term hookups, with friend with benefits situations. They do give you that feeling that you are desired, that you're attractive. They are attracted to you. They have a high libido. They have a really intense connection with you. They are passionate about you. Okay, and the sex with them feels really great, especially in that first phase. But this is just about this foundational phase, because shortly after, when things get a bit more serious, and we're talking about stage number 1 here, which I call the roller coaster phase, this is exactly where triggers come up for the first time, where you might ask for a bit more commitment. Like, do we have a future together maybe? Do we become a couple? So after some month or so, you want to get a decision from them. And that at the same time also loads expectations on them. So as this bond forms over time, they get triggered more and more. And as the bond intensifies, also the closeness intensifies, and therefore also their anxieties and overwhelm intensifies. So as you also get to a more committed and stable relationship phase, after the infatuation phase or after the dating phase where you wear pink glasses, you have serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin decreasing slowly. Probably not neuroscientifically correct here what I'm saying, but this is basically what happens on a hormonal level. So cortisol increases, stress goes up as the triggers increase because closeness increases, and everything that makes them feel good, their reward system, kind of slowly starts to shut down. And what you see on a behavioral level is that sex becomes less and becomes irregular. And what also happens in this phase is that sex feels very great if you have it. So it feels intense and better than usual. But it is not constantly present based on a calm and secure connection with that person. It is irregular, and it's like you are on a roller coaster ride with them. Sometimes you both are highly attracted and you maybe start to have a fight because your needs feel unfulfilled, and that puts expectations on them, that triggers them, they withdraw, and then they take some days off. You are heavily disappointed, you are hurt, you are sad, but then they come back, and then you have this very intense sex, and it feels so good, and you might even ask yourself, was sex ever that good? It feels so much better than usual, maybe with my ex-partners. Or maybe you constantly have been with avoidance and you're just used to this pattern. But this is the classical avoidant anxious pattern that forms over time when you are in a relationship with such a person. After that, and now it gets interesting, stage number 2 follows, and I call this one the mechanical phase. In the mechanical phase, this is usually where sex is very much absent, so they always try to find excuses. Like, I'm having a headache today, I'm overworked tomorrow, and on the weekend I just need to sleep a lot, so I'm generally having a lot of stress, and yeah, that makes me just feel like that I don't want to have sex with